Hi everyone, my name is Alisa and I'm traveling in Mexico. 1 month and a half I spent in the city of Mexico, the capital. And today I want to show you kind of a perfect day in this huge, amazing city. Of course, the city of Mexico is not possible to see just in one day and even in 1 week. But at least I will try to show you the places you surely will like and also will give you some options. But I want to start with the area where you choose to stay. This is really important for the city of Mexico because first of all it's huge and it takes time to go from one part to another, and not all the areas are walkable. Not everywhere you will find, bars and restaurants where you can take a breakfast or just to walk, So the first time when we stayed in the city, we were staying not far from the center, actually close to the metro, but the area wasn't nice and I didn't enjoy it. Now we're staying in a beautiful area with lots of greenery, very quiet, with lots of places to drink coffee and restaurants, and it's a totally different life. So, important tip, location. Location is everything. The city of Mexico is huge. It has almost 9 million inhabitants. But we don't need all of the city, just some small restricted area. Start to looking for your housing close to the park of Chapultepec. For example, in Condesa or in Roma. These two are the best areas, especially if you like restaurants and bars. They are quite central and really comfortable. Another nice area is called Reforma. Actually, the official names are different. You can see here are different colonias, but everyone knows it as Reforma because of Paseo Reforma, this central street. And Polanco, of course Polanco. It's a little bit further than others from the center, but it's also nice. All these areas, they have bike lanes, shops, restaurants, and everything you need. So the city center of Mexico is right here. It's more on the right, but it's not the best area to stay because it can be a little bit chaotic. Then another really nice part of the city is all on the south, where the Museum of Frida Kahlo is. But it's a little bit remote and far from everything else. The perfect day starts with the perfect breakfast. And I'm ready to go. I woke up really early today, and so I decided to go as far as possible from the city center to explore something new while I have enough energy. I took Metro bus number 7. It's a touristic experience itself. First of all, it's a modern, beautiful double-decker red bus. Then it makes all Paseo de la Reforma, which is one of the most beautiful streets in the city of Mexico. The only thing is that it's not so easy to pay. You need a special card in order to get in this bus. But Mexican people are really nice and usually they let you in. You just pay them the price of the ride, which is only 6 pesos, almost nothing. And where I decided to go is to the Basilica of Guadalupe, the must site for all the Mexican people. Actually, Mexicans, they come to see this site from all over the country. And while you are in the city of Mexico, why not to see it? The new basilica, built in 1970s, is huge. It can host more than 40,000 people, and it's really unusual and beautiful in my opinion. The basilica was built on a place where in 1531 a man called Juan Diego have seen the Virgin of Guadalupe. Don't miss this beautiful panoramic point where you can see both basilicas, the new one and the older one. After enjoying the place, I go back to the city center by the same metro bus. And this bus brings me directly to my favorite park. I can't imagine a perfect day in the city of Mexico without going to Chapultepec, the biggest park. It's really beautiful. It's like the central park of the city, and you can find here water activities, several museums, but I'd love to go to feed squirrels. Let's go to find them. I love it. Right in the park there are many museums. For example, the Museum of Anthropology, which is very famous, the Castle of Chapultepec, which has a beautiful view to all the city, and also the Museum of Modern Art, which is also pretty nice. The Museum of Modern Art has its own garden with lots of statues. Also, the architecture is really nice in my opinion, and it has temporary exhibitions and a permanent collection. You can see here the famous painting of Frida Kahlo, which is called Two Fridas, where you can see two of her portraits, one in European dress and another in typical Mexican dress, and she has in her hands a small portrait of her ex-husband Diego Rivera. If Chapultepec is not your kind of thing, you can go and see a baseball game, for example. Another thing I love doing in the city of Mexico is going by bicycle. You can rent it with a bike sharing app and go anywhere you want, especially in the central area. There are many bike lanes. And on Sundays in Paseo de la Reforma, they close the traffic so you can bike anywhere. It's also a great way to explore the city. For example, Paseo de la Reforma is a modern heart of the city of Mexico. But if you go to another areas, for example in the city center, you will see a totally different thing. The Palace of Fine Arts is one of the most emblematic buildings in the city of Mexico. Inside there are murals made by some of the most famous and important Mexican artists. One of them is of course Diego Rivera, but his murals you can find in many other places in the city, for example in the National Palace. It's located right in Zócalo, the main square of the Mexico City. And if you are looking for some unusual sights and hidden gems, go to this former church, which today is an amazing, colorful library with art made by Vladi, a Russian-Mexican artist. city center is full of shops and beautiful streets, and there is even a Chinatown. But keep in mind that some streets can be really chaotic and remind you more market than a city street. That's why I don't recommend to stay in the hotel in the historical center. While the historical center is a must visit when you come to Mexico for the first time, on my ideal day, I decided to come after lunch somewhere else. On my perfect day, I cannot miss my favorite museum, Somaya. It's free of charge, it has a great collection and amazing architecture. Even if you are not a fan of art, still there is a great reason to come here just to see the beauty of this modern part of the city. This 6-floor building hosts a huge collection of a Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim, and the name Somaya is given in the memory of his wife. So imagine that here in Mexico you can see a one-to-one copy of some of the most famous statues of Michelangelo. For example, Pietà, the original one you can find in Rome. Or you can find here a David, a huge statue, again one-to-one, which came here directly from Italy. It also has a huge and very important collection of Rodin sculpture. An entire floor is dedicated to Mexican art, the old one and the modern one, including the works of my favorite Mexican artist, Siqueiros. As for European art, you can find such masters as Botticelli, Monet, and many others, including my favorite Tamara de Lempicka. Not many museums has her works, so for me it's a especially precious thing. Right in front of Somaya, there is another museum of contemporary art. It has a nice cafe and a nice shop, and it hosts different temporary exhibitions. But I especially recommend you to come here because there is a terrace with a beautiful view to Somaya. And again, the entrance is completely free. Some rest. I changed my dress because later we go to theater, but now it's 6 and we are going to see a sunset. In the city of Mexico, there are plenty of sky bars and restaurants where you can see the view towards the city. This time I've chosen to go to the Monument of Revolution, or Monumento a la Revolución, very close to the historical center of the city. This monument was built in 1938. There are tombs of some revolutionary heroes and also a museum. And when you go on the top, you can see a 360 view to the center of the city of Mexico. So my perfect day came to the end, and the last thing I want to advise you is what to do in the evening. So you have plenty of options here in Mexico City. You can go to Roma, Condesa or Polanco, to a restaurant or to a bar. If you want to dance, there is Zona Rosa. Or if you prefer a cultural program, go to theater. Or to my favorite cinema in the world, Cineteca Nacional, where you can see many movies in original language. So even if you don't speak Spanish, it might not be a problem. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Don't forget to follow my channel and to see other videos about Mexico, and hasta luego!